Well, hello. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Carol Shaddix with Imagine Going There Travel, and I'm so excited to talk to you about one of Viking's most popular river cruises, the Grand European Tour. We want to help you understand what the best river cruise is for you without having to thumb through catalogs or search on the internet, call a random person at an 800 number, but really give you some great advice and see if this is a great fit for your next vacation. Now, who are these cruises for? Well, they're for those who are interested in active cruises, those who are interested in art, history, and culture, and really like to immerse themselves in learning more about the cities and ports along the way. Who they're not for is those who are either interested in relaxing cruises like SEA days where you can sit and read a book and explore those wonderful itineraries from the balcony of your ship if you choose to. We can do those on Viking ocean ships, particularly our repositioning cruises, like our transatlantic crossings. But river cruising is a different type of vacation where we're mainly sailing overnight and in port during the day. So not for those interested in relaxing, those who are interested in SEE days, not SEA days. It's also not a fit for those who are interested in traveling with children. Our chairman has said Viking guests like to travel with their grandchildren. They just don't like to travel with other people's grandchildren. And we find that our guests agree with that wholeheartedly. This is a personal testimonial from one of our clients, and it's really one of my favorites, and it speaks to my heart, and I hope it also resonates with yours. This client had always been afraid of traveling, was afraid of the water, didn't really want to cruise. But her husband came to me and said, look, I've been married for 48 years. I would love her to enjoy traveling. I think she'd really like a cruise. Would you come and talk to her? So we did a presentation, much like I'm doing with you today, and they agreed to do a river cruise. Well, when they came back from their trip, she told her husband on her flight home, this was one of the best vacations of our lives. That made me feel so special. I'm so glad it was a good fit for them. They actually did another cruise after that. They did a river and an ocean cruise. And then her husband unfortunately passed away about a year later. But she has those precious memories, not only of a great vacation, but something that was really important to him that they would do together. And it turned out to be a real home run of a vacation. So I love this testimonial, and I feel like so many of our clients feel the same way. That's one thing I love about sharing Viking stories with you. Now I'm going to turn my camera off just so you can see some of these great photos. This is what I'd like you to think about as your next vacation. This is quintessential river cruising. These are the highways of the old world. So you have these ships that would carry goods, services, people down the river. The towns were built up along the waterway. And this is your beautiful Viking ship. It's called a longship. It's not necessarily longer than others. It is just a tribute to the Viking heritage, but there are some unique features about it. And one of those is this aquavit terrace, which I'll tell you more about later, but it really allows you to enjoy seeing your the cities along the way. And on a beautiful day like this, it is a perfectly excellent way to travel. We're going to do the Grand European Tour, as I said, starting in Amsterdam, going to the Budapest direction. And what I like to say is when you are looking at the catalogs or online, these white dots mean we are in port for an extended period of time. We're overnighting here in Budapest. In Amsterdam, we actually sail out late that night. So if you can, come into Amsterdam a couple days early. It'll do a couple things for you. One, it'll give you time to see the city, of course, but you're going to get over jet lag, and you're also going to get a chance to know other Viking guests. You'll have a city tour included with your extension, which will allow you to spend more time in the city. And then you'll get a chance to start your cruise. You'll be relaxed and rested. But if you can't do that, definitely start in Amsterdam. Add AirPlus to your reservation. Maybe you can get in early and see some of the city during the time before we leave that evening. I love getting into port and then stay moving because I try to get on local time as quickly as possible. So we're going to start, as I said, in Amsterdam here. And Amsterdam is just an incredible city, lots of waterways and canals. This is the old part of the city. These houses are known for their narrow buildings, and they're high up. So the Dutch are very frugal people. And so when they realized they were going to be taxed on the footprint of the house, they built them narrow and tall. But you'll notice things like these little promontories at the top of the buildings. That was to use as a pulley system to get the goods or services, furniture up in these upper windows, and the shops or the living area would be down here. And so you get a chance to just learn all the interesting things about this beautiful city. One of my favorite things to do is to do a canal cruise, and I love seeing cities by water as well as a land tour. Amsterdam has 90 islands connected by 65 miles of canals. If you get here and can do a canal cruise, I love doing it at sunset. The lights on the bridges are turned on then, and of course being able to see it, you'll see the floating flower markets, the barges that are along the waterways here. It's a lovely way to spend late afternoon or evening in Amsterdam. Now, Amsterdam is known for its bicycles. There are hundreds of thousands of bicycles. They have parking garages for bicycles like we have for cars, and they take their cycling very seriously. They do have the right of way, so be aware of that when you are traveling, and make sure that you don't just do so much sightseeing, you're not paying attention to the cyclists and the bike paths. They cycle. Parking is very expensive here, and so a lot of them do cycling as transportation. Even as young children, they will cycle to and from school. So a very important part of their culture. So if you want to do an e-bike tour, I would recommend waiting and doing it perhaps in Kinderdijk, where you can experience a little calmer activity. But Kinderdijk is a really favorite town. When you actually are pulling up to the town of Kinderdijk, you're going to get off the ship and actually go below sea level. You're walking down, and understand that the Dutch say God created the world, but the Dutch created Holland, because they actually used the polder system to pump out this water and reclaim the land, which is very rich and of course has incredible produce because of that. Tulips and windmills period. Oh, that's such a special cruise. If you want to see the beautiful windmills, don't hesitate to book that. It does sell out quickly, so book that well in advance. But that is a really special experience to see 70 acres and like 7 million flowering bulbs, one of the largest bulb exporters in the world. But anyway, your day at Kinderdijk here will be very fun. You're going to get to explore one of these windmills, which are operational. In fact, the Dutch get to live here, provided they operate, maintain, and restore these beautiful windmills. They can live here for free. And you'll tour one that's actually a museum, and you'll have the experience that day of seeing a video about the history of the windmills and touring one, which is very fascinating. One of the things I like to say is Viking has an included shore excursion in every port of call, but then they also offer optional excursions. These are for a fee and based on your interest, and they're in categories such as local life, working world, and privileged access. Local life might be going on a home visit and learning about the traditions of a family, and they share their photographs, maybe some coffee or tea and some danishes or coffee cake with you, and you exchange stories and share your culture, and they share theirs. Working world might be like Dutch cheese making, where you go and learn how they actually make the cheese and get a chance to sample it. And then privileged access, or those experiences that Viking has created relationships with you can't get anywhere else. And that's one of those you can do here. And it's getting to go to a home of someone who is working their windmill, but they live there, and you're going to go by a restored 125-year-old barge. You'll learn how they make their living, how they maintain the windmills, get to tour their home and sit down and talk with them. So a very special opportunity if you would enjoy that. Many privileged access opportunities along the journey here. When you're looking at Viking on their website, go below the map, click on read more. And as you click through each day, you'll see the differences in the shore excursion options that are available. Not everyone is available for every sailing, of course, but you'll get an idea of what there is to do in these wonderful towns along the river. Our next stop is Cologne, and Cologne is a city that has some unique history here. The Dom Cathedral that you're seeing right there at the end of that bridge, it was never destroyed in the war. In fact, the Allied forces used it to help direct their raids, so it is well preserved. It is the city of Cologne is built on Roman ruins, and the Dome Cathedral is actually in constant renovation, 365 days a year. They are doing restoration, exploration, excavation. One of the favorite tours that you can do here, if it's available, is Top of Cologne. It's where you'll take an excavation elevator up the top of the side of the cathedral. You'll get to go in through the roof, look down on the incredible cathedral from that bird's eye view, take some incredible pictures from the top of the cathedral, and then meet with an excavation expert who can tell about how they do all the restoration. Of course, it's not a great one if you're afraid of heights, but it's very popular and I encourage you to do that. Now, one of the things I like to say is Viking owns most of the docking locations in Europe. So this is not a Viking ship here, but it's indicative of how close our Viking ships are able to dock right in the heart of the city. You're able to get on and off and do your tours, come back for lunch if needed. And it's so convenient and a wonderful way to stay in town for a long period of time and then come back and forth and feel like you have a base to operate from that is basically your home. Another popular excursion is the Kolsch beer culture tour. You're going to tour some pubs in the evening, and you'll get a chance to learn about all the different types of beer that's produced in Germany. This is Kolsch beer. It's very low in effervescence, served in small glasses, and they will just keep refilling that for you. So if you don't want to have a bigger bar tab than you expect, after you've had enough, put your coaster on top because they'll just keep refilling it as long as your glass is half empty. But that's a really popular one that our guests really enjoy. Another thing you can do in Cologne is go to the Fragrance Museum. The 4711 house is popular, and of course, that's where we get the Eau de Cologne fragrance. So you can look at that museum there. There's a chocolate museum as well that you can tour. And so, like I said, we have a full day in Cologne, leave late that night. So there's plenty of options to great shoe shopping there if you like to shop. And of course, lots to do in this college town, very friendly, English speaking. You'll really enjoy this city. Our next day is two scenic cruising afternoons. This is a beautiful part of the river. It's called the Middle Rhine. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is just as lovely as you can see here in this picture. This is going to be a really special day where you're going to enjoy scenic sailing. You will see some 40 castles along about that same number of miles of the river, 40 miles or so. I recommend that as you're seeing these castles, when you're taking those pictures, take a couple pictures of the mile markers along the way. That'll help you identify the castles later. But the fun thing about this, you'll be sitting in the Explorer Lounge, in the Aquavit Terrace, maybe on the sun deck if the day is beautiful. Your program director is going to be talking all about the history of these castles and how the lords of the manor would sometimes very aggressively collect tolls. And of course, they were allowed to do so to keep the rivers maintained. And of course, they use that sometimes a little too aggressively, as I said, to extract money from ships coming across the way. But you'll learn all about this history, and it's a very fascinating afternoon. Then your chef is going to be coming into the Explorers Lounge and maybe doing an apple strudel demonstration or serving some tea or coffee. So it's just a wonderful way to visit with your fellow Viking guests, learn a lot about history, take a little bit of a relaxing break from the touring that you've already done, and have a really special and memorable day along the river. Our next stop is going to be Koblenz, and this is Ehrenbreitstein Fortress. So we have the included tour option here. This is a better one for those who have mobility issues, and it's a great view of the Moselle and the Rhine River, and you'll learn all about this fortress on that tour. But one of my favorites is Marksburg Castle, and this is an amazing castle, never destroyed. in the war as well. And you'll see the cannons there. The kitchen is large enough to cook a whole cow. You'll see the dungeon and the torture equipment. The gimbal collection shows the knight's armory through the years, and just a very fascinating day with incredible views over the Rhine and the Moselle River. So this is my favorite, but like I said, it's not for those with mobility issues. No elevators here, some even pavement, narrow steps. But if you can do that, I really think you will enjoy the tour of Marksburg Castle. Now, this is the Aquavit Terrace, as I mentioned earlier. So just imagine sailing along the river on those scenic cruising days, sitting out here, taking pictures, sitting in those rocking chairs, enjoying the beautiful weather. You can come out here for breakfast or even eat dinner out here under the stars. You'll have blankets or hot chocolate if you want to spend the evening on the Aquavit Terrace. It's a lovely way to do some scenic cruising, and it's an area that is our guests' favorite. Our next stop is Miltenberg, Germany. This lovely town, we're now starting around the Main-Danube Canal. And this town is just like a storybook, half-timbered houses, known for its glass blowing. So you'll get a chance to get some maybe Christmas ornaments, some oil and vinegar vases, something special. I always recommend you put some bubble wrap in your suitcase and store that along the way. It doesn't take up any room or weight in your suitcase, and it protects those precious things that you might want to bring back. I particularly love to bring back Christmas ornaments because they're such a fun surprise when I pull them out every year, and I don't have to dust them during the year. And it's such a great reminder of the cities that we've been able to visit along the way. Our next stop is Würzburg, Germany. This is the Marienburg Fortress, which we actually do not tour this. You'll sail by it. We get to see the Würzburg Palace, and this is an incredible palace here. Back in the day when the church and the state were linked, the archbishop was also the ruling governor of the area. And so he had command of the purse and did a wonderful job of creating a beautiful home for himself that you can tour. This has the beautiful Four Seasons artwork by Tiepolo in the entryway, some incredible gardens. One thing I would recommend here is that you do the optional tour called Rothenburg Obertauber, which is the Romantic Road. It is just a storybook village that you will really enjoy. And then you can, of course, still see this beautiful bishop's residence as well. Bamberg, Germany is our next stop, and this is a town known for its smoke-flavored beer. You'll see that this is the city hall right there in the center of the river, which I think is just incredible that they can compress all their legislation in that small space. I think it's a great idea for us as well. If we didn't make our representatives quite so comfortable, maybe the Republic would have less legislation to deal with, right? But this is a really popular area for not only for that smoke-flavored beer, but also for music. The Franconian countryside, you could do some tours here, beer tours, music tours, and spend a lovely day in this medieval town along the river. Then we stop in Nuremberg, and Nuremberg is known for a couple of things. Medieval city, 80 watchtowers here, fully restored, but it's known for its role in World War II. And this was Hitler's rally grounds and very badly destroyed. It's been, again, fully restored, but there was a lot to do here. You can learn a lot about the World War II history. You can go in the medieval part of the tour. The documentation center tour is very popular, and they recreate those war crimes tribunals. So if you're interested in that kind of history, you can delve deep into that. There's also options where you can explore, like the Monuments Men, where they made that movie and how they smuggled the art into cellars and were able to preserve some priceless works of art. Optional working world tours like the Faber-Castell factory is also here. So lots to do here, and a really popular city, not only for the history, but also for toy making. And Nuremberg is known for that. Their toy trains, their nutcrackers. There are amazing Christmas markets along this journey, especially in Nuremberg. 700 years of Christmas markets, very, very popular. If you enjoy that, that's a favorite thing to do. Regensburg is our next stop. This is the 12th century stone bridge here, and you'll see Regensburg is a very colorful, happy town, built as an old guild city. So you'll see the names of the towns will kind of mirror the fishmonger, the tinsmith, the silversmith. When you cross the bridge, you'll be able to visit the Alte Wurstküche, which is the old sausage kitchen, one of the oldest continuously operating restaurants in the world, dating back to 1130. And you can sit on the pier, get some Nuremberger sausages, which is what they used to feed the workers when they were building the bridge, and eat a piece of history and just relax and enjoy the city of Regensburg. Then we go to Passau, and this is where the Danube becomes the Blue Danube. You'll see the three rivers converge here, the Inn, the Ilz, and the Danube, and you're going to have a tour of Passau, this area here. It's a very quaint town. I loved this town. I loved our tour here. Our guide told us that back in, I believe it was 2013, there was flood that was the highest in 500 years. It came about to a foot below this conical tower. So she said her mother actually lives in this part of Passau, and she said it's just nature's way of helping her clean out her basements. It's amazing. They just repaint and remark where the flooding was and restore it, and it just looks pristine. Lovely town. Those onion domes in the back are part of the St. Stephen's Cathedral. And if you can get here and hear an organ concert, it is absolutely amazing. Over 17,000 pipes, one of the largest cathedral organs in the world, and the acoustics are just incredible. But we have some optional excursions that you can do here. The Neuschwanstein Castle is one. Going to Salzburg is another one. It's a full day tour. So lots to do here in Passau, and really enjoy your day here exploring on your own. Then we go to Melk Abbey. This abbey is stunning, and one of my favorite memories is sailing away from the abbey as the sun was setting and just looking back behind, taking these incredible photos of the gold paint just reflecting off of the sunset. It is just beautiful right there along the river, but it's not only beautiful outside, it is stunning inside as well. And one of my favorites was the circular staircase, which was beautiful, but of course, the absolute highlight for me was this incredible library. Thousands of volumes handwritten by the monks, many of them just hundreds of years old. That fresco looks like it's been freshly painted, and you'll just want to spend some time here just admiring the incredible, intricate work of these volumes, which are so beautifully designed. Now, one of the things I will say that our motor coaches follow our ships, and what I recommend you do is you can go back to the ship after your tour, for instance, here at Melk Abbey, but you can also go down to the village and just explore. Maybe there's the farmer's market is open at the time that you're traveling, or just go into shops. You can certainly wander on your own, get back to the ship. That's part of the fun of exploring with Viking, is you don't have to stay with the schedule all the time. One thing I do recommend, take a picture of your Viking daily, because that'll help in a couple ways. One, it'll anchor your photos to all the pictures you take from one day to the next, and because they do start to blend together after a while. But two, it'll also give you the contact information for the ship, just in case you ever need to have that. It's on your phone, and it's it serves dual purposes in that way. But this is a great place to stop and do some touring, buy some little jams or schnapps. Special stocking stuffers along the way in these little towns is what makes it part of the fun. We have a second day of scenic cruising, and you can see this is very different. This is the Wachau Valley, which has a lot of vineyards and orchards and beautiful landscapes. So not quite as many castles as you saw along the way, but we still have some beautiful scenery here. You're going to enjoy this day of scenic sailing before we get to Göttweig Abbey in Krems. Now, Göttweig sits high up on a hill. It is going to give you some commanding views of the Wachau Valley as well. When we got here, it was July. The apricots were just dropping. It smelled so heavenly. And we were greeted as we got into the Abbey with samples of the schnapps or apricot nectar. It was delightful. And you're able to purchase that and bring it back with you, or have it shipped home One nice thing about Viking, there is no corkage free. So you never have to worry about sneaking your bottles of something into your room. Not only that, they will open it for you at the bar or at dinner time if you have something you want to share with your table mates or your travel partner, and that is perfectly fine. So a wonderful way to experience those special blends that you're able to pick up along the way. But a beautiful abbey here, again, some incredible frescoes and amazing views. And then we get to Vienna. What a beautiful town, architecturally stunning, large, and you're going to get to overnight here, which is really great because there is so much to see. So we will dock probably about 15 minutes from the center of town. Your motor coach will take you there, and your guide will talk about the city as you're traveling. And the ring road is what you will get a tour around and kind of get anchored to the city. And then your guide will take you, get off the ship, off the motor coach rather, and start walking you around and telling you about some of the history. This is Hofburg Palace. We don't actually tour the palace, but we were able to learn about the history of the monarchs here. I actually got to see a Lipizan stallion and a mare and her foal, because the time we were there in July, the stallions and actually the whole group of the Lipizan horses were on holiday. But certain times you can actually go backstage to the Lipizan stallion tour, how they actually take care of them and groom them and help them do this incredible dancing horses that they do. And sometimes you can actually get tickets to see it while you're in Vienna, which is incredible. Lots of amazing architecture. This is the Rathaus, the city hall. Beautiful area to walk around. We just walked and walked and walked. When we got tired, we stopped at the soccer hotel and had amazing break of soccer tort, which you can see here. Some incredible Cafe Vienna. I had some amazing soccer hotel tea, and Doug had apple strudel. I had the soccer tort. We sat on the second floor and just watched the horse-drawn carriages take visitors around. It was amazing. And the soccer hotel had this incredible chandelier that went from the second floor. There was a hole drilled in the second floor and went down to the first floor. So the architecture, the opulence of Vienna is incredible. And of course, you want to be able to explore everything, and there's just not enough time to see it all. This is the Schönbrunn Palace. So if you'd like to do the tour there, it's very expansive and a lot to see. Beautifully decorated at Christmas time if you want to do a Christmas market tour. And then the evening, the Mozart and Strauss concert in Vienna. A wonderful diversion for the evening, a combination of orchestral, vocal, and then dance pieces. So it's a wonderful evening broken up by a little champagne break of orange juice or whatever you would like in the intermission, and a real highlight as you go back to your ship, see under the twinkling lights of Vienna at night. Then we're going to end our stay in lovely Budapest. Budapest is actually two towns that were merged together, but it's divided by the Danube River. The Buda side and the Pest side are two very different experiences. You're going to get to experience both of them on your city tour. We'll go here to the St. Matthias Church up there at the top of the hill. This is Fisherman's Bastion right here for some incredible views of the Danube River. And you can stop and get ice cream or a sandwich, a snack here. And then we'll do a motor coach tour of the opposite side of the river, where you get to see the Champs-Élysées, as they say, of Budapest. It's like the Paris of the East, as they like to call it. And it's a wonderful day of exploring so much. There is a lot to see here. If you enjoy thermal baths, the spas here are incredible. And Viking will take you to the Sejny Thermal Spa. You'll just need to bring your swimsuit, and they'll provide slippers and robes and transportation. Wonderful way to spend an afternoon like the locals do. Great Market Hall is an option that you can go either with the chef, if that is an option for a chef's tour, or you can just walk here. We dock very close to this, down from the chain bridge. And I loved experiencing this and seeing the fresh fruits and vegetables. Great place to buy those Hungarian paprika sets, and they make wonderful gifts to bring back. On the upper decks, there is the option to have the street food and markets. You could purchase Hungarian lace or hand-tooled leather things that are memorabilia of Hungary. So just a wonderful way to spend an afternoon. The Shoes on the Danube is also very moving. Like I was saying, this is the chain bridge and we dock right here nearby. Well, the Shoes on the Danube is a somber stop, well worth visiting. It commemorates 40 pairs of cast iron shoes where the Nazis shot the residents into the river, and of course that's commemorated there. So you'll see candles or vigils or songs. It's just something to see and just to remember that period of time. It was very turbulent and painful to this area, but of course well worth remembering. If you can extend your stay, then Budapest is a lovely place to do so. We always stay in 4 or 5-star hotels. This is the side that you'll stay on with these commanding views of the river. We'll stay at the Hilton, the Four Seasons, the Intercontinental. Beautiful areas to stay. And of course, again, a wonderful way to extend your time and really get a chance to explore more. So if you can't stay for 15 days, we do have some popular shorter options. I do have seminars on our Viking website. If you go to imaginegoingthere.com/videos, you'll see a list of the ones that will talk about these other options. The Rhine Getaway is 8 days. It's Amsterdam to Basel. Really encourage you to do the 2 days in Lucerne, such a lovely city, or Alpine Backdrops of Lucerne, which is 3 nights and has more guided tours involved, and Zermatt in Geneva, such a great tour. Our guests really, really love that. We also have the Romantic Danube as well as the Danube Waltz, 2 cities, 2 tours that actually do the lower half of the Danube. We overnight on the Romantic Danube in Regensburg, Vienna, and Budapest. And on the Danube Waltz, we start in Passau, and we also go to Linz, which has one of my favorite excursions. Just keep Kremlov in there. It's an optional excursion I really encourage you to do. We get to see Bratislava, an additional city there, and overnight in Budapest. So both are very popular. I have a video that compares the 2 of those. Again, go to imaginegoingthere.com videos, and you'll be able to learn more about those options. Now, when you're traveling with Viking, we always want to make sure you get the most discounts possible. Viking offers past guests or new guest discounts. We are also going to give you some additional bonuses, which is $100 per person in shipboard credit just for attending this webinar. Just when you talk to us, let us know that you watched this webinar. We'll be happy to add that for you. What makes us different? Well, all we do is Viking. We're not an agency that knows a little bit about everything. We focus on Viking. Our team travels on Viking, so we know it well. Sometimes guests will call me and said, well, I booked with this agency and they booked my trip, but every time I had a question, they told me to call Viking. We're not going to have you do that. We book these trips so many times, there's likely not a question we can't answer, but if there isn't, you don't have to wait on hold with Viking. We will find out and get back to you. So that's one of our conveniences for you, that we really do help you save that time. And we've also got those insider connections. So you'll always get the best price. When you book direct with Viking, if there's a special out there, if you don't have the code, they can't offer it to you. So we know those codes. We're able to apply those for you, help you understand the differences in between the different sailing dates, when the best promotions are. And so you'll always be getting the best price. Our services are free. Viking pays us to make sure you have an amazing vacation. So we are here and incentivized to really help you enjoy your trip, because we know that if you enjoy it, you'll probably come back again, as most of our Viking guests do. And you'll talk to someone who knows you and your situation, not a random person at an 800 number. So feel free to give us a call. If you've booked in the last 60 days, that's not a problem. We can still get these extra bonuses for you. So the great thing about Viking is when you call in and talk to Viking and talk to that sales rep, they are paid by Viking, but you will not talk to them again. You'll be going to the customer service pool for future questions, because they take inbound calls and they book people, and that's their job. But Viking takes care of them. However, if you booked in the last 60 days, we're able to take care of you as well and Viking pays us when you travel, whenever your trip is. So it's a great way to get benefits for both. We can still help you, give you those extra bonuses, and make sure you are taken care of along the way. So if this is your first time river cruising, then I want to tell you why people love it. This is just an overview of the benefits of river cruising. One is it's relaxing and comfortable. Your hotel is going to float with you. If you're tired of that packing and unpacking from those land tours, then you will love the way that Viking does it, where your hotel floats with you and you dock in the heart of the city and you're getting on off the ship, and the scenery is traveling with you. We also have these inclusions that make it wonderful as well. Inclusive pricing, reduced air. You get a shore excursion in every port of call. And the shore excursions are led by knowledgeable guides, local guides that will really help you see the city through their eyes. And we have extended time in each destination, which really helps you maximize your visit there. You're always going to get wine, beer, and soft drinks included with your meals. Specialty teas and coffees are available 24/7. You also get free Wi-Fi. Now, I was recently on a cruise with family, and we did one of the mass market cruises, and I still had to work from the ship, which I'm used to doing, but the Wi-Fi package was $500 for the week. Well, it's free with Viking, so that's an incredible value, and I really came back appreciating all the extra inclusions that Viking gives. What's the best time of year to travel? Well, that is up to you. If you want the most popular, you're going to look at May and September. Weather is mild, and in May, it's before the crowds. In September, the crowds are starting to leave and the leaves are starting to change. But if you want the least expensive or fewest crowds, then do the shoulder seasons. Early March, first week of April, the latest, or late October, mid-November. Except for tulips and windmills, that is a very short season. Most popular time there is the last 2 weeks of April. Good value, but growing in popularity, are the Christmas markets. It's like getting 2 cruises in one. I love the Christmas markets. Yes, it is a little cooler, but you are going to have incredible experiences because you'll get everything that you get on a regular cruise. And in the afternoon, evening, when it starts getting dark early, the lights come on. The Christmas market stalls are just magical. You can sample that glühwein or apple cider and stay warm. And it's just a wonderful time of year. Great way to get all your Christmas shopping done. Cooler season tips: if you can wear thin layers rather than heavy ones, think about it. You're going in and out of these museums or chapels or whatever, and you're going to get hot. You don't want so many layers that you can't regulate your body temperature. Switch out your layers, go back and forth. This is one of my tips, is to do a screenshot of all the cities that you're going to be going to visit. And Eastern time, when you're doing Europe, they're 6 hours ahead, for instance. So take that into consideration and get an idea of what the highs are for each city along your way. Many of our guests are planning a year, sometimes 2.5 years in advance. It's a great way to remember, okay, this is what it's like, and in real time as you're considering where you're going to travel. Remember, you'll get lots of exercise. You're close to the ship, so you'll be going back and forth. Easy to change out your clothes, not a problem at all. And so I love that about Viking, that it's really convenient to stay comfortable. Now, to choose the right stateroom, we want to talk about the long ships. As we mentioned, they're perfectly designed for the rivers, 190 guests, only 4 decks total, only 3 living areas. So real quickly, I'll show you how to basically understand the Viking deck plan. They have 2 Explorer suites. We'll show you pictures of those. They have 7 veranda suites. They're up there on this deck on the other side. And then they have French balconies and verandas, which are the step-out ones here, and then the standard staterooms here. So this is veranda A and B, exactly the same size. One level's higher than the other. On the other side are French balcony C and D, exactly on the opposite side. And then these are your standard staterooms. E is more forward, F is toward the rear. Very simple, and that helps you understand the differences. So a quick inside peek. The Explorer's Lounge is 445 square feet, comes with lots of extras, 270-degree wraparound balcony. The living area there actually does separate. The door closes. You get private transfers. You get the Silver Spirits beverage package, which opens up the wine list and includes your drinks. You get alcohol in your room as well. And it's a wonderful, very, very popular stateroom choice for those special occasions. The veranda suite is 275 square feet. You do have the doors that close here. Great for either having friends over in your living area, but it also comes with extra things as well. Just like the Explorer Suite comes with laundry services for you, and your balcony where you can see that couple there step outside, but there's also a French balcony in the bedroom as well. The bathrooms are wonderfully apportioned and good size. All of them have heated floors, anti-fog mirrors, large travel amenities, which are, the writing is very clear, color-coded. You never have to wonder if you're putting lotion on your hair instead of conditioner, and they're lovely as well. The veranda stateroom is the next category. You can see it's 205 square feet. It has a chair in the room, 2 chairs outside, and a table, 205 square feet total. Very popular stateroom size. The French balcony is next, 135 square feet, but it has this full wall of windows, so it feels bigger. You're able to see out, lean out, but not step out. And then these are our standard staterooms. The standard staterooms have that high fixed window. I'm 5'7" and it about comes to my chin, and so allows you to see out, but it's a very economical option. You're not in your room that much, there for sleeping, showering, and changing. So a lot of times when we have space on a ship, this is what is available. And I would say get on a river cruise if you can. You can always do your second cruise with your preferred stateroom choice. A quick ship tour. This is guest services. You'll be coming into one of these doors on either side of the ship, depending on which side we're docked on. Wonderful guest services staff here to help. Then on the other side, if you turn around from there, is the atrium. You'll notice it's very light filled. It is very modern Scandinavian design to help you feel like you're sailing in your destination. Not a lot of draperies or gilded chandeliers. It's just very clean and great views. Speaking of that, the restaurant has some wonderful views as well. You never have to worry about what you're wearing here. You can just come in business casual, as we say, how you would go to a friend's house for dinner and leave those fancy frocks at home and enjoy scenic sailing, wonderful food, and some great friendships that you'll develop. You can change up your seating every night if you like. No need to sit at the same table. On the upper deck is the library, as you can see. And then in front of these chairs on the foreground, there are 2 computers. So you never have to bring a computer if you don't choose to. As you walk past that area, you'll see the Viking Lounge and Bar. Lovely place to hang out and visit. But then turning around from there, you see the lounge. This is where our scenic cruising happens, our afternoon sailings, and as well as our port talks at night. All the way to the back here is our aquavit terrace, and you'll have a place to sit that's sheltered, as well as this aquavit terrace that is open and able to get some fresh air here. Then upstairs on this ship, we have our sun deck walking tracks. Make sure you keep your walking between a normal 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. type of time frame, but there's always plenty of seating. You have the wonderful shaded areas, great for those scenic cruising days too. You can still hear the program director talk about the areas that you're sailing past and all the history there. Play a little shuffleboard or do some putt-putt golf there. The herb garden is also there. It's what our chefs use to prepare these incredible meals. And that's our tour of the ship and the staterooms. Now, just in closing, we want you to have these great memories for yourself. The staff, the excursions, the food. I just wanted to hug everyone before we left, Gail said as she came back from her first river cruise. And we want you to remember that this type of vacation is very special, and we want to make it even more so for you. Our only focus is Viking, and we know it well, so we're going to make sure we customize this trip for you. We've got those insider connections, the deals, the bonuses, etc. Our services are free to you, so you're always able to ask us any questions that you need. And then, of course, this is our motto: great vacations matter because great memories matter the most. And that is something we live with every day. All those vacations that we take, they are memories that stay with us more than gifts we got for Christmas or other items that we've purchased for ourselves. They all break, rust, memories, and great vacation memories stay forever. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Carol Shaddix. As I said, we are a Viking Platinum Cruise seller, and that means we do a lot of Viking and we do it well because we really do value the partnership that Viking has with our clients, and we want to make it even better for you. My contact information is there, carol@imaginegoingthere.com, and our team is here to help you every step of the way. So feel free to reach out if I can help. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to talking with you soon.